Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we're here with another Wednesday Facebook Live. That once again, we say thank you for coming in, joining in. Tell somebody about it. Start sharing. Let the people know that we are on today. We got a great show tonight. We got some dynamic things. And tonight, we kind of going to take a twist. A lot of times when we think of financial literacy, we think of health, we think of money. That's most of the time what we think. But being financially generational wealth and having financial literacy is all a part of it. But having generational wealth is also physical. It's also what you can do physically. You know, your health, your training, the way you go about handling your business, what you think of money, how do you spend your money, what do you invest in, what don't you invest in. But also, all of those things are dealing with generational wealth. But one thing also it deals with is how do you treat your body to spend the wealth that you created?
Mm.
Think about it. How do you spend your money on how the wealth that you're created? So some people spend their money on a gymnast. Some people spend their money on going to eating right, changing their diet. Some people spend their money on a lot of other things. But tonight, we're going to talk to the top trainer here in the city of Indianapolis. He's just phenomenal. He's coached my daughter when she played basketball. He's coached some of the best in the NBA and the WNBA. So he's crossed over. He talks generational wealth with all of his athletes, and he has other people that are not athletes that he also trains. So they spend money on that, and that creates wealth, generational wealth. The longer you live, the longer you have the opportunity to make money. So without any further ado, DESEAN is a friend of mine. I met him. I know his kids. He does great work. DESEAN, without any further ado, tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me a little bit about what you do.
Hey, Cepeda, thanks for having me. Deshaun Johnson, basketball skills trainer. And so it's funny how you and I met. You saw me training my son at the Healthplex early
Yes,
morning.
yes, yes.
And that's how my business actually grew. So people would see me working out with my son, Tyshawn, who's currently playing in Thailand. And
Thailand.
they would come
Tell,
up to me.
tell him to send me one of those. Tell me, give me some tickets.
I got you. I got you. And they would come up to me and ask me how much would I charge them to work out with their child. And so this was all new to me, and I didn't have an idea of how much I should charge. So I started out, $25 per session, six sessions for $100, right? I remember putting flyers on cars
Yeah.
at basketball games, but it's funny how it grew. So from there, I started working out with a kid named DeAndre Starks, one of my first clients. Rest in peace, DeAndre. And DeAndre bought Marcus Teague in. DeAndre and Marcus Teague were teammates. And so I was working out with Mook, I think sixth grade. I think my son was in fourth grade. Mook was in sixth grade. And man, it just grew, man. And I love the game of basketball. I love kids. Like I said, my son is currently in Thailand on his way to China. And China plays fairly well. I think the closest to the NBA.
All right, all right. So you coach now? Do you coach all athletes, or do you coach the regular average Joe that's like myself that got trying to come back and really have no chance of coming back? But do you
Hey,
coach us too?
absolutely. Everyone has to start somewhere. And like you said, health is wealth. And so what you want to invest in, whether it be basketball training, eating healthy, knowledge, and it's all important. It all goes together. I worked out with Tamika Catchings, Ty Harris. I've been in the gym with Jeff Teague. Worked out with George Hill. So I had the privilege of working with a lot of you mentioned NBA, WNBA players, but I work out with younger players because we all got to start somewhere. Not everyone's born great. Like Steph Curry wasn't born great. He had to work to become Steph Curry, obviously.
Wow, wow, wow. So how long have you personally been doing this? Over 20 years, right?
Over 20 years. I started when my son was in fourth grade. He's currently 29, so well over 20 years.
Wow. So tell me this, because I know you talked about creating generational wealth. Tell me this: how did that transition? You actually training your son, and then you say, "Hey, this is a business. This is a family business now." And the best product was your son being able to play at a very high level. Didn't your son go to the state championship game?
Yeah, he went to the state championship game his junior year. They lost at Carmel. They should have won, but they lost at Carmel. He played in the NCAA tournament. He's currently playing overseas. But like you said, I just bet on myself. When the people started coming and asking about training for their kids, and I love the game of basketball, I said, hey, this keeps me connected to the game, and I'm making a decent income from it. So for the longest, Cepeda, I looked at it like it was a side hustle. So I had to change my focus and look at it like an actual business. And once
Wow.
I did
Wow.
that, it kind of took off.
Wow. So you went from looking at it like a side hustle to a business,
Yes,
and that's what created that level of excellence that you had with your kids. Now,
absolutely.
tell me this: was it hard to train your kids because they was dealing with generational wealth, or was it a natural transition?
It was a natural transition. Tyshawn and I butted heads at times, but for the most part, he always saw the big picture. And now it's funny because he has such a relationship with players. He refer a lot of kids to me. He does training while he's here. He worked out with Jeff Teague a couple of times. Him and Jeff have a great relationship. They talk, real estate. They talk, different things. But he saw the bigger picture at a young age. He was very mature in that regard, and so he wanted to make sure him and I were on point so that the business could grow and help him be the best version of himself.
So let me ask you some questions that I always wanted to know in the athletic market. How is you training these kids and you training these adults creating generational wealth for them?
For them,
Yes.
so think about it. You're gonna give 110% to something you love to do, right? You're gonna go all out. So there's nothing like living your dreams, living your passion, and getting paid to do that. So now, with them playing professional sports, that's one stream of income. You and I talked about, real estate, different investments. So now you have passive income in addition to your playing income. So it's teaching them generational wealth. It's teaching them to leverage their talent and their ability, but also, like you said about Michael Jordan, get money from other places. So you're not just using your body to make money. You can make money while you're sleeping. But leverage your talent to maximize your talent, but still have that passive income at the same time.
So, ladies and gentlemen, so I brought him on the show. So you hearing it straight from the trainer, and he's at the number one training facility here in Indianapolis, and he's saying that, hey, if you got a son, it's important that you start training him or her to have financial literacy to buying a real estate property. Some of the things we don't never talk about, how smart they is, like Shaquille O'Neal, like me and you was talking. They have several businesses. But if they would have known about those opportunities when they was in college, or it would have been a lot easier. Okay. So what we want to do, he's saying it. Not only now, ladies and gentlemen, they have the NIL. The NIL. Your son or daughter can get paid by when they go to college. But also, generational wealth and financial literacy is not just money. It's about how you take care of your body, like what he was saying. It's how you spend your money. You got to spend your money to pay him to train you. All of those things deal with generational wealth. And I thank him for coming on the show because he said that, hey, we need to do more teaching on financial literacy, right?
Absolutely. And one of the things I learned in college, Cepeda, was networking. Like you're gonna forget a lot of stuff you learn in college. Unfortunately, some of it does not apply to life. Uh,
Mhm.
I had a conversation with Jeff Teague, and he went to Wake Forest, right?
Okay.
And he made a lot of great connections and met a lot of people at Wake Forest. He said he's playing for the Hawks at the time. and somebody was calling his name, and it was a young lady he went to school with, and she had a higher position in Snapchat. So uh, just that connection from going to school, you know, and he networks, and they have business going on together, and so network. We mentioned bringing different athletes to the table and to do something bigger than you and I, and that's what it's about.
Okay, just like I said, learning how to network while you working out. Learn how to network. While you working out. That's important. That's generational wealth. I was talking to my coach, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get a head coach that deals with training. And he said generational wealth is more than just money.
Yes,
It's a lifestyle.
it's
It's
lifestyle. Yes,
it's how you spend your money to work on your body. And generational wealth is how long can you add to the life that you live.
I
As a
love it.
coach,
I love
uh,
it.
as a coach, have you been able to uplift the people who are down or feel like they didn't have any hope? As a coach, have you been able to inspire those individuals?
Absolutely. I always tell, and I told this message yesterday. I had a group of girls I was training. Never allow someone to tell you what you cannot do, right? Because they can look at you, uh, your outward appearance, but they don't know what's inside of you. So never let someone project their shortcomings onto you. And so I try to inspire people every day. If you, I know Deion Sanders says 2%, but I always say if you increase by 1% for 100 days, that's 100%, right?
Yeah.
Deion says 2%. So 50 days, 2%, you get better. That's 100%. So every day you should get a little bit better. Like I'm writing a book currently, and I want to take 30 minutes a day writing. I want to take 30 minutes a day reading. A lot of times we get caught up on social media, watching TV, but you got to focus on you, and that's how you grow.
Okay. So is that a big part of what we're teaching our youth now? Because you mentioned Deion Sanders, and he's actually turning the college football world on his head.
Upside down, yes, sir.
And so, a lot of those kids have had trainers, right?
Hmm.
So, do you think that the trainers that these kids have had, Dion, going back and you know, I heard on TV they said that Dion had been coaching some of these kids since they've been in the fourth grade.
Yes,
And
yes,
so, to me, that is great because they went with him to Jackson State. Now they're with him at Colorado, and they're on the big stage now. But nobody was talking about these kids when they was in the fourth grade. So that generational wealth, these kids are going to believe in something bigger than themselves.
oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So
And I think we need to get back to invest, like you said, invest in the community. There's so many resources in our community, and we need to get back. When I was growing up, and same with you, it was a village, right? And that village wanted to see you do well. I could have fell off into the street life, but everyone in the community was like, "No, you play basketball. Stay on the straight and narrow path." And I'm like, "Wow, y'all believe in me that much? I wish I had the same belief in yourself." But they did.
wow. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Calvary's not coming. The creek done rose, the levee is giving way. It's up to us to save us. And he's
Yes,
coaching. He worked with Tamika Catching. He's worked with Mr. Teague. He coaches over. He's a trainer at D1, Division One. His own son. Uh, Talking about generational wealth, one of his own sons have made it to the elite level. And what was some of that? What was some of that like when he started to have success? When you started to see that, when was the time to pull back?
um, like I said, he really matured, and he's a homebody. So with Tyshawn, I didn't have to worry about him too much. He will live in the gym if you allow him. You know, gym and video games. When he was at Pike, him and Marcus T would play 1-on-1 a lot during the day, right? And so I always knew that he was doing the right thing. So I didn't have to be as hard on him as far as the basketball stuff, but the condition of his body, the push-ups, make sure you're eating right. He loves pasta. The funny thing about it, I used to make him read, like I said, 30 minutes a day, and he read a Slam magazine, and the article talked about Jason Kidd and Tim Duncan, how they did yoga, and to this day he still does yoga, right? And,
Wow.
and, and so, like you said, you have to give them something to believe in. You have to allow them to believe in themselves, and they can grow.
Wow. So that was a big part of his development. So he had natural talent, but when he bought into the actual physical part of it, conditioning, changing his mind, betting on himself, not getting involved in all the other things that kind of metamorphed him on the basketball court, right?
Absolutely. And you made a good point earlier, uh, how we would go to the health plex and the older kids, Marcus Teague and them, would beat up on him, right? But that was all part of his development. That adversity made him stronger. And so he worked out with Andre Owens. They would go boxing. And he was like, hey, Andre, every time you work out, I want to work out. And Andre replied, he said, Tyshawn, you can't do every workout that I do. He's like, yes, I can. And Andre said, I like that in you, And so that, like I said, to networking and to seeing the people before you do things. If I want to climb a mountain, I want to know somebody climbed that mountain before I did. And I'm asking them how they climbed the mountain.
Wow. So that's key right there. And that's one of the things that we don't do in our community is that we don't communicate with each other to talk about how we bumped our head, even as far as business and how
Absolutely.
we raising our kids and what job occupation we doing. Like, when I was first with diabetes, remember I was going to the health flex
Yes. Yes.
and he was like, hey man, you got to start running. You got to get your heart going.
Heart
So,
rate up. Yeah.
you
And
know,
you look good,
so
by the way.
oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, thank you. The gut is gone, and the cannons are back. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so, so that's one of the things that we can utilize is being able to um, network and being able to talk to somebody who didn't actually did it. You know,
Yes.
that's one of the things of generational wealth is passing that wealth of knowledge from one generation to another. And it don't
Yes.
necessarily always have to be money or a life insurance policy. It could be how to stay in shape, or it could be, I was talking to an individual yesterday and they was telling me, she was saying that, hey, knowing your family history about diabetes or high blood pressure or whatever it is in your family, that is generational wealth also.
That's a
And
great point too, because like a lot of people in our community grew up in single parent households, so you have no idea of the health history of one of your parents, right? So
wow,
you,
wow.
you're ignorant to the information to a degree, you know.
And I think that's the biggest tragedy that's in our community, because not only do we have, and I always say we can find something positive in everything. And so a lot of times when we don't know our family history, we don't know that your great grandfather used to be a homeowner. You
Yes,
know, we didn't know that your great grandmother used to be a home, have her own business. So when we're talking about passing that generational torch to the next generation, what do you think sports and training come into play?
um, it's knowledge, because it's a quote that I love. It says, "How you do anything is how you do everything," right? And so they say a
Wow.
lot of athletes are great businessmen because they're competitive, right? You're a competitor. You want to be great in business. So
Okay.
daughters to be competitive, to be great in business. When I worked in finance, I had a job that was 100% commission, and he said, "You eat what you kill." So if you don't kill anything, guess what? You don't eat anything, right?
Wow.
So 100% commission is tough, and so you want to make sure that you have solid leads, and you want to go out there and kill every one of those leads. Now, everyone is not going to do business with you, obviously, but you got to turn a lot of no's into yeses. You got to be diligent and move on to the next. So as far as sports, like if you go 110 in sports, then go 110 in the rest of your life as well, because like we mentioned earlier, that ball's gonna stop bouncing at some point. So what do you have? What is your legacy? What do you have after that?
Wow. So like I said, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a single mom and you got kids, hey, listen, he's telling you how we can bet on ourselves and actually take our kids and our family to the next level. It's not by accident or coincidence that some of these great athletes go to the pros and then they go back and they don't have nothing to show for it down the road. But here we're telling you, if you got a kid, bring him around, bring him on the show, tell him about the show, have him watch a couple shows and talking about generational wealth. And it's not just about money. It's about how you spend your money on yourself. It's about how you value what you've earned.
Absolutely.
Okay,
You know,
that's it.
and if you get that college scholarship, of which I was blessed to do, I went to a Division II school in Memphis, HBCU. Um, so
By
and,
the way, what HBCU was it?
Lemoyne Owen, Memphis,
Lamont
Tennessee.
Owen. Okay,
Yep,
give him a
yep, yep.
shout out to him.
So if you get that college scholarship, 40 or 50,000 a year, that's an investment, right? That school is investing in you, to play whatever sport you play, and so that's generational wealth because mom and dad are not coming out of pocket to pay for your education.
Wow. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Calvary's not coming, the creek is rose, the levee is giving way. It's up to us to save us. He's telling us. Trainer, I'm sure what has been the biggest, the most influential athlete that you have coached, and what's been one of the athletes or individual that said, you know what, that person I did not know that they thought like that.
You know, I have a lot. I have a lot. But it's always great to get those shout outs and to see the athletes that I work with, like Ty Harris. She has a brand. She's doing a lot of community. Uh, she has her AAU team. She's doing a lot, and to see them grow. Gary Harris, I coached him AAU. Him and my son played on the same AAU team, and to see them grow into the brand, the young men and women that they grow into be, it feels good. It feels great because, like I
Okay.
said, I'm happy to be part of the village. When you train with me, you get all of me. You get my undivided attention. I'm like the horses downtown with the blinders on. I'm laser focused to make you the best player athlete that you can possibly be.
Okay. What made you think that you could do this and that you had the talent to coach some of these and train some of these athletes at the highest level?
The knowledge and man, the love of the game, and the love that I have for people. And so I love the game so much. I'm not going to cheat the game of basketball. And so, like I said, when you train with me, I am locked in. I'm locked in, and I want you to come locked in as well. And so we're going to attack it and get after it. But I was a great player. I wasn't the best player on my team, and so I was always in the gym working. And so I try to find little nuances. I know how to get the ball high off the glass over the big guy. I know how to use my quickness, my strength, my athleticism. And so I try to teach the kids the same thing. Learn the angles of the game of basketball, know when to change speeds and change directions. So just my knowledge that I acquired over the years, I want to, teach you everything that I learned in the game of basketball.
So once again, as you was thinking about that, I was like, that's just life in period. Sometimes
Much.
you gotta throw, sometimes you gotta change speed, sometimes you gotta
Yes,
change direction. I was thinking about my business. A lot of times I have to change directions. I gotta shoot higher off the glass than other people
absolutely.
because I gotta give
Put a little spin
a
on it.
little bit more. And that's just a game of life. And so many times we can use sports to kind of mimic or to kind of demonstrate what the game of life is. And
Absolutely. You made a great point earlier. So, like, my wife's grandfather, I think he had a sixth grade education, right? And he had a laundromat. He had a store. He owned property, but that property got lost. The family, it didn't go to the family, right? Because we're not knowledgeable that we have to pay taxes on that. I had a great aunt who had a house paid for, an uncle, and we don't those properties aren't passed down in the community. And so, like I said, that investment with college with more education, we should have the knowledge to keep those properties in our families in the community.
Wow. So you saying that sports training mirrors what we do in our personal lives
Oh,
and our
absolutely,
business lives and our
absolutely,
economic system. So once again, if you are trying if you have a son or a daughter that is wanting to learn the game of life while learning the game of basketball, I got Deshaun's number right down there. He's trained athletes at the highest level. He can take your child and bring them on up. Now we're only here in Indianapolis right now, but people that come on my show, they start to blossom afterwards. So Deshaun, you probably gonna get some calls from Atlanta. Probably gonna start getting calls from some other places where you can go out and train. But
absolutely.
that is very key, Deshaun. When you start betting on yourself. Now, did it change? When you started to see the success personally? I'm asking you a personal question. Now, I know you coach a team sport, but when you started to see yourself being successful, did that translate into your family?
Absolutely, absolutely. And so now we look at things differently. And I love what you're doing because the success now uh, comes knowledge. So it's cheaper to buy land than to buy properties, right? And so sometimes you want to buy this house, but you can buy the land and have a house built. So with success, I read that Will Smith, he looks at every dollar like it's only 50 cents. He don't even look at the other 50. I'm just going to invest that, right? So now I'm trying to look at things differently. How can I make money while I'm sleeping? So I use my body to earn this capital. Now, how can I make it? How can I use the capital to benefit me, make money while I'm sleeping?
Okay, okay. So that's a generational wealth mindset.
Yes.
So, so I keep hearing you say you had to change the way you thought,
Oh, absolutely. We talked
change the way
earlier.
you.
I was a consumer, and so now that I'm a
Okay,
producer, oh, it's different on this side because I don't have to put all my money on my body. I don't have to show the world what I'm earning, you know. And we mentioned that hotel downtown with lights. If you have that, they see it. I don't, that goes without saying. So I look at things differently. Every dollar is 50 cents. I don't have to buy this and that to impress people I don't even know.
wow. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are sitting here talking to Deshaun Johnson. He is a national D1 training coach. He's trained some of the best, George Hill, Tamika Catchings. He got some athletes that's going into the league right now that's playing overseas. But more so than any of that, his greatest accomplishment, in my view, is he can see his son playing overseas. And so, with that being said, a lot of times we have goals that we might have personally. What do you want to see? So for those who are just catching in and sharing it, and we talking about generational wealth still, Deshaun, tell me this: where do you want to take your training on a national? If it was 5 years going forward, what do you want to see with your training company?
I definitely want to be worldwide. I want to do clinics in different countries. Um, I did a clinic in Maine. I've done training all across the U.S. But like I said, my son's playing overseas, and so I had a client of mine from Israel over the summer, and he came in and did some great work. So to continue to grow and to inspire others, I hired my niece to do my social media, do
Oh, no. So
videos.
you got your family members because of what you're doing. Your family members are able to benefit off of what you're doing there, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what it's
Wow,
all about.
wow,
Because
that's what
I
it's
didn't want
about.
to pay her like I read somewhere. I try to read a lot. I read somewhere don't pay them for chores because you develop a worker's mindset. So I was paying her to read books. Now she does my TikTok, my Instagram. She does videos for me. My nephew he does some videos. And so you definitely wanted to make it a family business that have something to pass down to build my legacy. You know.
Wow. So, like I said, all the social media when me and you was talking, I was like, well, when Mariah was introducing herself to you, she was the one who set all this up. I made the initial contact, but then she took it over,
Yeah,
put
she took it
together the
over,
flyers, and it was
and
a
she was
good.
very professional too, very professional. And she was so professional. I'm like, you do know that I know you, right?
Yeah, you used to train when they was
Yeah,
little
I was
girls,
like,
when they was 5 and 6 years
yeah,
old,
yeah.
and
She was very
they were doing their
professional.
ponytails.
Yeah,
But once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking for your son or daughter, it doesn't matter where you're at, give Deshaun Johnson a call, 317-413. His number is rolling down at the bottom. Deshaun will take care of your son. Everybody's talking about what Dion is doing. Those kids came up under a system, and it wasn't about the athlete, it was about creating opportunities to where you can bet on yourself. And
yes.
so when you begin to bet on yourself, Deshaun, what is some of the diets that we need to, what is some of the foods that we need to get away from when we're training? What is some of the things that we need to do?
We definitely need to get away from the sugars, the processed foods. Uh, we want to eat more fruits, drink lots of water, lots and lots of water. I cannot stress enough. Drink lots of water. My son's in Thailand. And the climate is different over there. He does an ice bath, to believe it or not, almost every other day. I do it like once a week, so I'm not popping ibuprofen and Aleve, for the swelling on my joints. And I'm in it 10 minutes. Back in our day, 3 songs, 10 minutes, and I'm out. He can stand there 15, 20 minutes. I don't know how he does it, but definitely stay away from the sugars, the salts, the processed food. You want to eat natural stuff. Have color in your diet. Me and my wife on Thursdays is date night, and we went to Brewburger, right? And we got a salad, chicken strips, cut them up in a salad. Growing up, we wanted to eat real good, So now I'm
Mhm.
going out and eating salad. I'm eating more salads now than I ever have in my whole life.
Now, does that translate into Uh, have you seen that translate when a person is eating wealthy, eating healthy, eating wealthy? I say eating wealthy because
Yes,
when you eat right, your wealth it translates to finance. I'm often thought, a lot of people talk about LeBron James and how he eats and how he doesn't eat certain foods. Tom Brady. There's a
yes.
reason why they played so long
Hmm.
because they didn't eat like everybody else ate. Do
So
you think?
LeBron invests $1 million in his body. Now we all aren't fortunate enough to beat LeBron. So what can we do? And that's eliminate those sugars, the salts, drink lots of water. But health is definitely wealth because the more energy you have, the more tasks you can accomplish. Like every day, we should all have a checklist of what you want to accomplish that day. You want to attack that day. I teach a lot of my clients to set goals, right? We all have dreams, but you want to write those goals down on paper. And so make 3 copies. Put one in your room, put one in the mirror in the bathroom, and one on the refrigerator. So every day I see these goals that I want to accomplish. And so those times I don't feel like doing it, if this is what you want to be, I got to put the work in to get there.
Wow. So you saying that when your diet is right, your mind is right,
Mine
your
is right.
body is right, the ice. I really haven't done the ice bath yet, but I think I've heard people say that when you get into an ice bath, it's a mindset.
It is.
And when you're able to overcome that gives you a certain amount of endorphins that goes in your body, and it gives you that confidence that you can overcome anything.
Anything. And like I try to before the ice bath, I try and control my breathing. I try to get myself ready to get in there. And so instead of putting one leg in, I just get in there the full body, right? Like I said, 10 minutes. In the mornings, I try to take cold showers to get my brain going to attack that day. And like you said, bet on yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you? So the belief starts with you, right? If you're a player and you can't knock down shots, I'm gonna back up off of you. If you're a great shooter, I'm gonna press up on you. If you can't go left, I'm gonna force you to your left hand, right? So you have to bet on yourself. You have to believe in yourself, and once you believe, other people start believing.
Wow. So you hit a good point. Once you believe, other people start
Other
believing.
people start believing.
You would be surprised how many people have came to me and said, "Hey, Cepeda, you can't do this," or "This is not the right route to go," or somebody said something negative about you, and then you take it and then you run with it. But you're listening to somebody who's not going to elevate you, who's not going to encourage you, that's not going to strengthen you, that's not even
Yes,
going to be in your corner when ain't nobody around. So
yes.
bet on that person in the mirror. So is there anything else that we can learn, Deshaun, from training? Is training really that important to where some people say I can do it myself, right?
Hmm.
How much is training more important than what it is?
So it's like archery, right? If you just go out there aimlessly and shoot, you may hit a target, you may not. But when you have focused training, right, specific training, you're gonna hit that target. You have a better chance of hitting that target than going around aimlessly, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
What are the top five training tips? And I'm sure it can translate into business. What are the top five training tips that you suggest that everybody do?
Uh, Top five training tips, I would say, hey, believe in yourself, discipline. So uh, you want to every day you want to do something. Now, when I was in college, when I was home for the summer, I would try to run 2 miles. Right, go to the track, run 2 miles, but that's not actual basketball. So I would suggest that there's a field like a football field by your house. Sprint down, jog back, sprint down. Right, you do that. Right, 16 of those is a mile. 32
Okay.
is 2 miles. Right, and so believe in yourself, discipline. Get with like-minded individuals. We talked about networking. So you want to get with guys who have the same goals and aspirations as you do, because you're gonna have those the naysayers that say what you can't do, right? And use that as motivation, right? Be a student of the game. Be a student of generational wealth. Like a great point. My mom had credit card debt growing up, and so for the longest, I paid it. I didn't even want a credit card, right? And then when my son started playing AU basketball, we got credit cards. We traveled, hotels and flights and whatnot. And so you learn. We talked about credit earlier. We talked about having credit and learning how to leverage that and build on that. So networking, believing in yourself, get around like-minded individuals, and you know, set goals and write those goals down and put them in three places where you see it every day.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that we got it. So he first thing he said, you got to bet on you.
Bet on
It's
you.
up to you to save you. And then he said set goals. It's one thing to bet on yourself, but it's another thing to set a goal that you believe in. Not somebody else believe in, that you believe in. I heard Deion Sanders say 80% of our team believe, but we got 20% that don't. Right?
Mm, hmm.
So a lot of times we got to bet on ourselves when everybody else is really not betting on us.
Correct.
So and then you got to put in the work. A lot of people just do a lot of talking. I I had a lady that came to me and said, "Hey, Cepeda, I went to a network night and it was a good environment. And then everybody will speak well about you." I said, "Wow." I said, "Well, if that's the case, you went to a network night, right?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "But guess what? They was talking about me at your network night, so I'm doing something
You're doing
right."
something. Absolutely.
So I'm doing something right. It's all about how you look at it. Then you say, do the work, put in the work. I get up at 4 o'clock every morning
I love
and
it.
I read. I read because when I was an athlete, that was one of the things that I did when I became a financial coach and I started working in the financial world. I started to learn that other countries' uh, time is different than ours. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
when their time is different, they're working while we're asleep. And
Absolutely.
sometimes we're working while they're asleep. But if you can cut that down and you can keep that going, that's going to increase your opportunities to be able to be successful, because we're living in the game. Life is competitive. Everything is competition, and only the strong unfortunately survive. And so, you got to figure out how you're going to give yourself an opportunity to get ahead. What is one of the things that you can do? Get up early.
Absolutely.
Be disciplined. It might be changing your diet. It might be hiring you as a coach. It could be, putting in the effort to learn your craft. Okay, be disciplined. If you got a son that's out here, or a daughter that's out here that's trying to get better, you're trying to start a business or whatever it is in life that you're trying to do, you're gonna have to put in the work. Even if you're trying to work on your marriage, you're gonna have
Yes.
to put in the work. If you
Got to
got
put in the
kids,
work.
you got to
Yep.
put in the work. And so be disciplined, be diligent, be consistent, be faithful
Yes.
over putting in the work. And then be a student of the game.
Be a student.
Whatever you're doing, be a student of what you're doing. I don't care if you are a pooper scooper. Be a student of pooper scooping, because people pay for that. You know, I often say people pay Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan all this absorbent amount of money, but ain't too many people. You can be 100 yards away. He can hit a ball that's about this big and can smack you in the back of the head.
Hmm.
So that's what people want to pay for.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yes.
don't necessarily have to be an athlete. You can be a business owner, to where when the market is doing poor, you can figure out ways on how to make the market great.
Yes. Yes.
Internet, YouTube, those type of things, Snapchat. You can become great just by putting in the work and putting in the time.
Definitely.
So, Deshaun, I am so honored that you came and being a part of the show. We are celebrating you. We celebrate what you have done in the community. You've impacted so many people. Tamika Catchings, your son, your wife, your sons. I remember them boys when they was at the health plex, and I was just got diagnosed with diabetes,
Hmm.
and I had to start to work out. So, and then I coached a little bit, and I don't think me and you ever went head to head, because I think that you would have lost. But I thank you for coaching my daughter, and just being the person who you are that's impacting our
Well, thank
community.
it's a blessing, and I definitely appreciate you reaching out. Extending the invitation. Uh, and this is why I love what I do. It's the relationship, right? Because it's bigger than basketball, right? Because we had a great relationship. You extended the invitation for me to come on your show, and I definitely appreciate that. I want to continue doing business in the future. Thanks again for having me. I love what you're doing, and keep up the good work.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Calvary's not coming. The creek is rose. The levee is giving way. Thank you, Deshaun, for coming on the show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, next week we are going to be talking about home ownership once again. Tuesday, we're going to start our class that's going to be talking about uh, credit and real estate next week. We also going to be talking about next week. I got a guest speaker that's off the chain. So stay tuned. Share it with somebody. Let the people know, hey, we're here to help you. If you have want us to cover some topics on the show, inbox me. Say, hey, could you talk about this for me, because this is what I might have a question about. But the Calvary is not coming, ladies and gentlemen. It's up to you to save you.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
have to bet on yourself. You have to get in the game. You have to engage. So what if you fall? So what? That's a part of the learning process. So guess what? I haven't always been on top. I've made a lot of mistakes. Guess what? It doesn't stop me from getting back up. You got to get back up. We're going to be celebrating home ownership in the month of September. September's almost done. If you would like to participate in home ownership, give us a call. We can help you. Next week, we're going to be talking about real estate and credit. We're going to walk you through that process. You're going to be able to be a part of. If you've ever wanted to buy and sell a house, start a company for yourself, we're going to be able to help you. All right. If you need a coach, Deshaun Johnson is here. If your son, if you're in the Indianapolis area and you got a son that you think might have some talent, give us a call. Give him a call. Let me get his number down here. He can train. And guess what? If you need a life coach, I'm sure we can translate that, can't we, Deshaun?
Absolutely, absolutely,
If you need a
absolutely.
life coach, not just if you having a problem with being obese and you want to get yourself right, want to get in the gym, want to start just hold somebody holding you accountable.
Definitely.
That is what we need, accountability. When we
Accountability partners,
start to
yes.
be accountable one to another, iron sharpens what? Iron.
Oh, yeah,
So when you're trying to chop down that tree of fat around your waist, right, or behind your back or up on your neck, if you got a dull knife, you're gonna be there for a while. But if you got somebody who's very disciplined, who didn't done it before, like what Deshaun has said, guess what? You're gonna have that extra oomph to get there when everybody else is falling short.
yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight has been a great night. Next week, we're going to be on Tuesdays and we're going to be on Thursdays. Look at your Facebook Live. Look, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, all the social media sites. We're there. So as we start to grow, share with somebody. Don't be selfish. The Calvary is not coming, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to tell you this. The Calvary is not coming. The creek is rose. The levee is giving way. It's up to us to save us. You have a lot of people out here that's selling a lot of wolf tickets. And they're telling you that we're doing this and we're doing that. But guess what? Go and look at Deshaun's resume. Go down there and he can give you a whole list of people that he done coached. If your son is a talent and you think that they're a talent, give Deshaun a call.
Sounds
Reach
great.
out
I'm
to
tuning in next week also.
Huh?
I'm tuning in next week.
Okay, he's tuning in next week, and he got some more stuff for us next week. I guess him and Mariah done worked it out, and I got to be in line. So he will be on talking about business next week. We're going to be talking about business. So if you feel like you're slim and trim like me, and you don't need the extra workout, guess what? We can get it done for you. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing us to come into your show. Thank you for allowing us to come in tonight. Once again, till next week, keep betting on yourself. The Calvary's not coming. The creek is rose. The levee is giving way. It's up to you to save you. Till next week, keep betting on yourself.